Namaste and welcome to another episode of Viewpoint. A lot has been going on in Bangladesh since the ouster of Sheikh Hasina, and the atrocities being committed on the minorities, especially the Hindu and Buddhist minorities, are increasing day by day. The caretaker over there, Muhammad Yunus, also has not seemed to be doing much regarding all the genocidal moves that's happening in Bangladesh. So what's happening in Bangladesh? Let's discuss today with Mr. Suresh Kochatil. Namaste ji. So you've been seeing what's happening in Bangladesh. We just had, a very big group of Hindus getting together under the leadership of Chinmoy Krishna, who has been detained and who's been put in jail. And in fact, the one single lawyer who was actually defending him has also been lynch mobbed in the court premises, and then that has also been pushed onto ISKCON, that ISKCON has been doing this. So where is Bangladesh headed, and is it like the Hindus will not really get a reprieve over there?
I think what Bangladesh is happening, Bangladesh is sliding into chaos. Yunus has no control either on the army or on the public or on the Islamist, especially the Jamaat-e-Islami and other hardcore pro-Islamic outfits. What will happen in the days to come is very clear. Chinmoy is one case of it, only one part of it. Remember, Chinmoy really doesn't represent ISKCON. If you ask a normal Hindu in India, he would say ISKCON is an American product. Okay, they say we have nothing to do with Hinduism, they do something else. They say we support Christians, we support that, we support everything. But now they are in trouble in Bangladesh. So ISKCON in India will also react to it. But more importantly, ISKCON in US, because that is a party, that's a kind of outfit, a religious outfit which is heavily funded in the United States.
In fact, it formed in the United States as well.
Yeah, and one of the biggest funders are all the big industrialists out there, political personalities. So when the Trump administration moves in on the 20th of January, and we've seen that Trump has openly condemned the kind of genocide that's happening with Hindus in Bangladesh, there is going to be a change of administrative stance that will happen. 2-3 things can happen, and I'm sure will happen. One, the US will take a posture now. They are now keeping their hands away from the entire thing. They will be forced to take a stance where they know that if they let this continue, Bangladesh will become another Afghanistan, because we have the Jamaat-e-Islamis and other Islamists, hardcore Islamists, who are no less dangerous than the Al-Qaeda and ISI. They'll create that out there. They will create an Islamic homeland, and they'll become a threat to the neighboring countries and also to the United States indirectly. So I think that is one thing. Second, what role does India play? As a neighbor, we cannot do much, because one, they are basically a country where we have to go through, or we have to bypass them to reach the northeast. Okay, especially around the chicken's neck that we famously call it. The problem with us is that we cannot do a military adventure. Now, Rahul Gandhi has been demanding that his grandmother did that, his grandmother. At the same time, Rahul Gandhi and the Congress and the communists are not condemning the Islamists by nature. They are saying there's a genocide against Hindus. But who is doing the genocide? Why can't they even name the Islamist, saying it's Muslims who are killing Hindus in Bangladesh? Very openly, lynching, as you said. This is what is happening. That's why I said Chinmoy is only because he's a big name, he's being regarded there, or he's being talked about. There are thousands of others who have been jailed, who have been killed, whose name don't even figure in things. I think slowly, and for all we don't even know what's happening in the background. I'm sure the Indian government, the RAW and other agencies are working on it. There will be a kind of a backlash against Muhammad Yunus. There will be a backlash from the Islamists against Muhammad Yunus. And in all this bargain, finally, the Bangladeshi army will be forced to take a stance.
So you're saying the current caretaker government under Muhammad Yunus, there has to be a natural conclusion. So saying the conclusion may not really be democratic, it could actually be a martial law kind of a military kind of a...
It will happen. Just watch. The students, so-called students who took part in that demonstration against Hasina are frustrated a lot now, because he didn't deliver what he promised. The Islamists are taking control, and these students know that that is extremely dangerous for them, because no Bangladeshi student will get an admission in an outside university if these guys take over. Right. Look at even IPL. Not a single Bangladeshi player has been bought in this auction. Why? India knows that the real way to kind of put pressure on Bangladesh is to starve them economically. Okay, petroleum products can be easily blocked, not an issue at all. You put half a dozen, 2 or 3 submarines, and you put 2 or 3 warships in the Bay of Bengal, and you can block them. Not an issue. We did the 71 war, we saw something very similar.
There's a huge textile industry as well.
Textile industry is gone. Bangladesh textile industry is finished. Just the other day I was speaking to somebody who said that there are a lot of places in India which can take over this Bangladeshi thing, which is already doing. We have Tirupur, we have various other, where Ludhiana and other places where we already taken over the Bangladesh part of it. A nation that is not stable politically, economically, or even strategically is going to lose out. We've seen that with Iran. We've seen that with Libya. We've seen that with Syria. These are countries where there's no government actually, technically speaking. Iran at least has some form of government. If you ask Syria, who is there? Okay, Assad is there. But what is he doing? Half the country is not under his control, just like Yemen is. So, US is going to take a stance on this because India can do only so much. Because anything and everything we will be accused, or Modi will be accused of pandering to the Hindu majority. Hypothetically, let's take a situation. Suppose there are half a dozen Bangladeshis who are caught by Hindus in India. What would they do to them? It's very clear what answer we will get. But that's not the answer, because when you indulge in killings, you are actually provoking the other side to do more. The idea is that you starve them, because a lot of Bangladeshis come to India for medical treatment. Those visas have been stopped. Bangladeshi students come and study mostly in Kolkata and West Bengal universities. That has been stopped. Deportation has to start now. Take those illegal Bangladeshis who are here and dump them in the border.
Including the Rohingyas, you mean?
See, Rohingyas came from Burma. We should differentiate between those two. Rohingyas came from Myanmar.
But they say quite a lot of them.
No, they came through Bangladesh. That is the difference, because they came through boats. They came to Bangladesh, then they slipped into India. Though they are separate, that's why they even hold UNHCR cards, refugee cards. So we can't throw them away straight away, Rohingyas, but we can lock them up. We can put them in detention. But Bangladeshis are a different cup of tea, because they are today in every city in India, every village in India, every town in India. Time has now come to kind of deport them. Bangladesh will say, we don't know who these are. At least Sheikh Hasina, when she was there, she said, we will take them back. But this government will say, they are not even our people. What do we want to do? Take them elsewhere. We don't care. So what can we do is that we can put them in the border and start putting pressure on the Bangladeshi government. We can shut up their power, because a large part of at least 16 to 24% of Bangladesh's power is supplied by Indian utilities, including the Adani group. So they can shut up because they're not being paid. Bangladesh has a payments of crisis on hand right now, but it is being funded by the US indirectly through IMF and World Bank. But the moment there's a change of administration on January 20th, these things will change.
But do you think what's happening right now in Bangladesh and even other parts of the world, like what's happening in Ukraine and all, do you think there's a possibility that the Biden administration is trying to go all out before, the transfer of power in January? Because even Donald Trump has actually stated that, most of this is being done to incite World War III, and then, power is not transferred to me in January. He claimed that.
Yeah, it's possible. See, I'll tell you what. If you look at the entire sequence of whatever is happening, everything is being done in a rush. Ukraine is being given an okay to fire missiles, intercontinental missiles into Russia. US made missiles, European made missiles. Why was that decision taken only now? And after an election which President Biden has technically lost? He cannot. He's only a caretaker right now. In Indian parlance, he's a caretaker. Let's look at the Indian context. In India, there's a Waqf Act coming up, amendment. What is the Waqf board doing? In the last 5 years, they have gathered thousands and lakhs of acres of Waqf land, claiming they are Waqf land. Why did they wake up only now? More than 1/3 of the land that is there with Waqf, which is the third biggest landowner after the Indian Railways and Indian Army, is a Waqf board. But more than 1/3 of that property that they acquired, or land that they acquired or taken over, happened in the last 6 years. Because they knew that the Modi government is going to come up with a law. And so, if you can beat that law before it happens, we can claim that it happened before. So there's nothing the government should do now. But Modi government is smart, they know how to handle that. Something similar now. That is why you see the Department of Justice, which filed a case against Adani. The same lawyers have been accused by Trump, same lawyers in a sense, the same group of Department of Justice, saying they will be the first to get sacked the moment he takes over. He said that will be the first file I'll sign, because he himself was arrested. He himself was being tried. So the Department of Justice, unlike in India, the judges and the prosecutors and everybody are politically appointed, even judges. In India, you imagine a situation like that. No. They have a 6-3 majority in the Supreme Court right now, the Republicans. So that means 6 of them were Republican nominees, so they will always give judgments which favor the Republicans.
Correct.
Imagine in India, if 2 or 3 judges get together and start giving judgments which are pro-BJP. So this is what I'm trying to say. Bangladesh's problem is very simple. It is not a powerful economy. Look at Pakistan today. They're struggling with IMF bailouts, with various bailouts of various other Gulf countries, including Saudi Arabia. They are hardly being kept afloat. Politically, they are same problem as Bangladesh. We saw the protest by Imran Khan party people the other day. So these are nations which are on a tinderbox. Now, does it serve our interest to keep them boiling, or should we kind of start dictating terms to them? For example, it happened in Maldives with us. We were supporting a regime which was totally pro-India. Suddenly, Muizzu came in with anti-India attitude. Initially, he was all gung-ho. He said, we're going to throw the Indians out, we're going to throw out campaign, we're going to throw the Indian army or Indian people who are maintaining the doniers and other things, we will throw them out. But what happened 1 year later? He's literally coming to India and begging for money. He's begging for India to send in the tourists because it's collapsed, their economy is collapsed. Something similar you do it to Bangladesh. Because moment there's no food on the table, there'll be riots, and that's already happening. We saw that happening in Pakistan also. People don't have anything to eat. So how will you survive? Till today, we were supplying rice to them in huge quantity. They are also a big rice producing nation. The only thing they sell to India more is hilsa fish, which is a Bangladeshi staple, which a lot of Bengalis love it. So my point of contention is very simple, is that appointing Muhammad Yunus as a caretaker, whatever he was or he is, was one of the biggest mistakes. They thought this man could kind of, because he won a Nobel Prize, do it. But everybody knows his background, that he was what we call Pavlovadi type kind of guy. He used to give money and, on high interest rates. And that is so-called of his finance was all that he used to lend money at very high interest rates. So all his economics was dependent on that. And if you look at it, the Magsaysay Award winners or the Nobel Prize winners, especially in these fields, like peace or be it other non-essential fields, are all political stuff. Okay, so what Bangladesh is going to happen in Bangladesh over the next, we can keep Chinmoy aside. For all you know, even if he dies in custody, I won't be surprised. That can still happen. Now the public prosecutor has gone, Attorney General has gone and told the Bangladesh Supreme Court that ISKCON should be banned. Okay, because Rahul Gandhi will say here that RSS should be banned because they are saying it's a Hindu organization. Technically, they are not Hindu organization. Many of ISKCON's, as I told you before, ISKCON's activities are kind of neither here nor there. Okay, we will give them the benefit of doubt. But the problem is very simple, that where do you take this ahead? ISKCON is only an indicator of things. Chinmoy is only an indicator of things because he was trying to galvanize a section of society. But now the time has come for Indians to react, not Indian government. Indians to react by boycotting everything Bangladesh. So if you find a Bangladeshi in your neighborhood, inform the police and ensure that they are locked up. Slowly it will start building up momentum, and soon you have thousands and thousands of Bangladeshis inside jails, and we will just take them and deport them. Economically throttle them, especially petroleum products. Don't allow it to reach Bangladesh shores. Don't give them power. And any other type of stuff, even we will suffer, doesn't matter. Our rail connectivity is through Bangladesh to the northeast. They might just block it down. It's okay, we'll live with it. We can still go take a roundabout route. That is not a bigger issue. So the time has come. We can talk of 71 and say, Rahul Gandhi said, my grandmother did this. Okay, so you want us to kill all the Islamists there? That's a question to Rahul Gandhi. That's exactly what Indira Gandhi did, but she did it to the Pakistani army. But now it's a different game out there. It is the Islamists who are running the country. We have another Tehreek-e-Taliban sitting that side. We have another Al-Qaeda sitting that side, in Bangladesh. And they are going to tomorrow start attacking India. Now they are attacking the Hindus within their countries. Tomorrow the attacks will start in India. And that is why I said you should identify the Bangladeshis here and ensure that they are locked up or deported. Deporting is not an easy game, but we can always hand them over to the UN and say, you do what you want. This is what my take is.
So I think as a final question, post the change of government in the United States, do you think there will be some significant change in Bangladesh, considering that quite a lot of analysts have felt that the prevailing circumstance in Bangladesh was majorly due to US intervention?
It is very clear. And the US had made it very clear that they were involved. There's no doubt about it. Sheikh Hasina herself has said, a white man came to me and said, he wanted a part of my country to set up a Christian nation. Okay, what's happening in Manipur?
Saint Martin's Island, I believe.
Yeah, connect the dots. What is happening in Manipur? The same gentleman, the US envoy who met Sheikh Hasina and threatened her, met Stalin. Why did he go all the way to Chennai to meet Stalin, of all the people? There is a story in that. It's a separate story. But the question is, US obviously has its interest. They have a religious interest, they have a strategic interest. But President Trump is more of a maverick who doesn't care for all this. Okay, he has his own way of doing it.
Doesn't go by the rule book.
No, not at all. That's more dangerous actually. In Telugu we call pichon chetla rai, We don't know where he'll throw it, but he's not a mad man. I'm saying his attitude is like that. And I'll do anything. I'll use army to deport everybody. I'll throw everybody out. I'm going to look at the sanctions that are coming up against Canada, against Iran, and against China and all that. But no India. India escaped from the entire bargain. So President Trump is going to put his foot down not just in Bangladesh. He's going to put down the foot down in a lot of countries. You're going to see that tightening of Iran. You'll see Yemen getting cleaned up of the Houthis. And all this, look at the peace deal coming between Israel and Hezbollah suddenly. All this is happening now. And in no time, you will see a new US, because he himself said it, that I'm going to be the new policeman of the world. I'll do it. And I think President Trump should start with Bangladesh first. Clean up Bangladesh. Throw Yunus out. If the army takes over, so be it. Army has to take over. There's no choice now because the streets are getting into a chaotic stuff. It's anarchy out there. So there's no choice. It's a question of history repeating itself.
Thank you so much for your valuable insights. So you heard the discussion today. So what do you think about the Bangladesh crisis? Please let us know below. We'll catch up again. Namaste and Jai Hind.